Helen Lovejoy is a damn piece of work.
Stand aside, you degenerate two-bit proprietress!
Don't you call me that. I'm an entrepreneur.
God, I hate people like her. And you must know what I do with characters that sicken me. I'm gonna calm myself down by looking at every time Helen Lovejoy got karma slapped in her prissy little face. Calm down. It's just a cartoon. It's not real. Like the time Helen Lovejoy was a smug twat in the twisted world of Marge Simpson. So, Helen's part of this investment club called the Investorettes, with Marge, Mild Flanders, Edna Crabapple, Agnes Skinner, and Luann Van Houten. And these women are making some absolutely mental investment decisions.
This means our investment club portfolio has nearly doubled in value.
They're suggesting things like investing in software companies, cushions, and finding ways to make money off of fat children. Not the most ethical way of earning money, but hey, we all do what we gotta do to make that bag. And among this group of investors, Helen's leading the charge with her smug attitude. When Marge tries to voice her concerns about their recent high-risk ventures, the other women absolutely tear into her. They're pretty pissed at the fact that Marge keeps trying to keep them away from taking riskier ventures, but she still takes a cut of the pie when they profit.
If we'd listened to you, we wouldn't have sponsored that Mexican wrestler.
Yet she still gets to share in all the profits.
Look, I'm not some kind of investing guru, but Marge isn't wrong for wanting to be a bit careful. Helen, though, seems like she's been waiting for this opportunity for a long, long time. Because as soon as she sees that they're piling on her, she immediately casts a vote to kick her out. Keep in mind that this is a club she helped to f***ing build.
All in favor of expelling Marge from the Investorettes?
Aye. All right, Helen. If I'm not wanted, I'll leave.
Now, here's where the karma comes in, and it's glorious. Marge, driven by spite and anger, goes to the same franchise expo and starts her own pretzel business. Meanwhile, the Investorettes buy into Fleeter Pitter. At first, they seem to be winning, stealing Marge's customers right in front of her face.
Excuse me. I had this spot first.
Oh, sorry, dear. Just business. Ha!
But then Homer gets the mafia involved to help Marge's business, and the criminals end up destroying the Investorettes' Fleeter Pitter van with a car bomb. Yeah, that's a pretty crazy escalation, but it works.
Look, lady, if I was you, I would just leap into the air as I'm preparing to do.
Their entire business literally goes up in flames. And how do the Investorettes respond? They hire the Yakuza to get revenge, which leads to a massive gang war on the Simpsons' front lawn. So, Helen and her smug friends went from kicking Marge out for being too cautious to having their business explode to getting wrapped up in an international mob war. All because they couldn't handle Marge's sensible investment advice. The woman they dismissed as too risk-adverse was actually the smartest one in the room. And they paid for it with a literal exploding van and the end of the Investorettes. Sometimes the best revenge is just being right all along. This wasn't the first time she had problems with Marge, and it certainly won't be the last. There was the time when Helen started fighting over groceries in the episode 24 Minutes. So, Marge is in an absolute panic because she needs to make a raisin sponge cake for the school bake sale. And naturally, she's left it until the last possible minute. Classic Marge move, honestly.
All out?
She rushes to the supermarket, hoping to grab what she needs. But when she gets to the baking aisle, there's only one box of raisins left on the shelf. And of course, it's Helen bloody Lovejoy reaching over for the exact same box after Marge. Now, a normal person would just let it slide, accept defeat, and go wallow in pain. But we're talking about Helen here, and this woman is the poster child for pettiness. She decides that this box of raisins is worth going to war over.
Give that to me.
The two of them get into a proper scrap right there in the supermarket aisle over a box of raisins. I've seen people fight over the last telly at a Black Friday sale, but dried fruit, that's a new low, even for Springfield. But if you think Marge is going to be a pacifist today, then oh boy, you have another thing coming. Marge, fueled by sheer desperation and probably years of putting up with Helen's bullshit, actually wins the fight. And she didn't pull her punches either. Helen actually gets the shit beaten out of her. That's right, the woman who spends every Sunday standing in church acting like she's better than everyone else just got her arse handed to her over dried grapes. She started a fight she couldn't finish, and now she's off to the hospital while Marge walks away with her prize and gets to make her cake. But why just keep this to the mum? Let's have the whole Lovejoy's clan get their self-righteous arses handed to them on national television. In There's Something About Marrying, Springfield legalizes same-sex marriage to boost tourism after the town gets ranked as the worst place in America. I don't know if that'll work considering all the other people in Springfield see on a daily basis, but I mean, baby steps, baby steps.
Marriage deal.
Then it's settled. We'll legalize gay marriage.
Anyways, gay couples start flooding into Springfield to get married, and you'd think the town's minister would be happy about all the business coming his way, right? Wrong. Reverend Lovejoy flat out refuses to marry any gay couples, going on about how the Bible forbids it and putting it on that moral bullshit.
While I have no opinion for or against your sinful lifestyles, I cannot marry two people of the same sex any more than I can put a hamburger on a hot dog bun.
And of course, Helen is right there backing him up, without a care in the world. You know what these pricks need? A hero to put them in their place. Enter Homer Simpson, the least religious man in Springfield, who sees this as a golden opportunity. Somehow, he gets ordained as a minister and starts marrying the couples himself.
And do you, Julio, take Thad to be your lawful wedded life partner in Massachusetts and Vermont, maybe Canada, stay out of Texas, as long as you both are gay?
I do.
Where does this leave the Lovejoys? Well, they turned away all of the business because of their high and mighty principles. And now Homer's making an absolute fortune doing the job they refused to do. So, now they've lost a ton of money and business, and all to Homer Simpson of all people. But it gets even better. The Lovejoys end up on a TV show called Smartline to debate Homer about the whole thing, ready to put an end to getting one up by the drunk family man. Instead, Homer completely humiliates Reverend Lovejoy on live television by mocking his love of the Bible and then marrying him as the wife to his own Bible.
Well, call me old-fashioned, but I believe that marriage described in the Bible...
If you love the Bible so much, why don't you marry it? In fact, I now pronounce you and the Bible man and wife. And you're the wife! You owe me $200.
Homer.
It's some truly satisfying shit to watch, and I can't get enough of moments like this. Almost makes you forgive Homer for treating Bart like a stress ball. Almost. And Helen has had this karma coming for her for a long time. We find out that she was actually a atrocious human being right from her childhood, when Homer and Marge discover they actually met as children at summer camp.
L.A.
Oh no, my retainer.
I got it.
Homer was at Camp Sea Tree, and Marge across the lake at Camp Landerman. Whoever came up with these names for children's camps should rot in hell, by the way. So young Marge is at camp with all her future Springfield friends. And of course, young Helen. Before she married Lovejoy and became the town's morality police, Helen was just another mean girl at summer camp, and boy does she fit right in with the group. When little Homer returns Marge's retainer to her, Marge immediately falls head over heels for him. But the other girls just think this is absolutely hilarious and start taking the piss out of him. They're all sitting around joking about what his name could possibly be, coming up with increasingly ridiculous suggestions.
I thank you, but I don't even know your name.
I bet it's something low rent, like Billy Bob.
Or Homer.
Big ugly Homer.
And Helen, being the cruel little shit that she was even back then, joins right in with the mockery. The girls coincidentally settle on calling him Big Ugly Homer as their joke name, laughing their asses off at this poor boy who was just trying to do something nice. Now here's where the karma comes in, and it's the slow burning kind that's almost painful to watch. Fast forward a few decades, and where did all that mean girl behaviour get Helen? She ended up married to Reverend Lovejoy in what is quite possibly the most loveless, miserable marriage in all of Springfield. The two of them can barely stand next to each other. He ignores her to play with his toy trains, while she's constantly bitter and looking for attention elsewhere. And their relationship is colder than a British winter. That's pretty f***ing cold. Meanwhile, the boy she mocked ended up happily married to Marge, the girl he met at that same camp.
sweetie. Save our troubled marriage.
This episode was cute, showing us that Helen's karma is her whole damn life. Why wouldn't she be a bitter bitch after turning out like that? Oh, and between you and I, Homer isn't that bad. The guy could be quite a looker behind all that beer fat. Speaking of Helen's absolutely miserable marriage, let's talk about the time it got exposed to the entire bloody town. The episode kicks off with Mo sending a letter to Homer, Apu, and Reverend Lovejoy, saying he's running away with one of their wives. Yeah, I mean, that's quite a way to wake up. You're looking at the mail and it's taxes, bills, and a threat of your wife being taken away.
It's from Mo.
Dear friends, I have some news that is doubly sad. First off, I am leaving town forever. And my going away present? One of your wives is running off with me.
Now, you'd think the minister's marriage would be safe, right? After all, with how much these two hold their heads over everyone else, you'd think they'd have the perfect marriage. But oh no, their marriage is just as much of a disaster as everyone else's. They're just better at hiding it, or at least they were better at hiding it. It turns out that Reverend Lovejoy has been completely neglecting Helen, not just emotionally, but sexually as well. Yeah, those same bloody trains from the last episode are way more important than s***ing his wife.
Be they Bible thumper?
Timothy, I finished saying my prayers.
Not now, Helen. Today's the day I paint mustaches on my Pullman porters.
Things come to a head when Lovejoy and Helen have a massive argument after church, and they end up having the scuffle in front of the entire f***ing congregation. Everyone in Springfield gets to see the minister and his wife screaming at each other, with all their dirty laundry aired out for the world to see. So much for being the moral authority of the town.
I'm glad we never argue like that.
Yes, to argue, you have to actually talk to each other.
Way to bitch up the conversation, Helen.
Oof.
Meanwhile, as Apu investigates Mo's threat of stealing his wife, he finds Mo confiding in Helen that he's in love with a married woman. And what does Helen do? Does she act like the faithful minister's wife she pretends to be? Hell no. She starts flirting with Mo right there, putting her hands on his knee and giving him all sorts of signals.
There's this married woman that I have feelings for. And her husband don't realize how upset she is with him.
Do I know her?
I'm sure you do.
Oh.
What's so damn funny? No, I mean...
Helen f***ing Lovejoy is flirting with a barkeep as her marriage falls apart around her. Oh God, I could cry tears of joy watching this dumpster fire unfold. But why stop at the parents? What's their kid got to say about all of this bullshit? Well, in Bart's girlfriend, the little Casanova starts dating the Lovejoy daughter. You'd think she's the picture of perfection, but hell no. From the start, it's clear that Jessica is trouble with a capital T.
Wow. Now I have the energy to do anything.
Jessica's got this innocent act down to a science, playing the role of the sweet minister's daughter in public while being an absolute terror behind closed doors. She gets Bart to do all sorts of horrible things, and he goes along with it because he's smitten. Things escalate when Jessica steals the entire plate of collection money at the church during service. That's right, she robs the fucking church. And to make matters worse, she frames Bart by putting the empty collection plate in his lap right as it's being passed around. And who's the first person to call attention to this? Helen fucking Lovejoy. She makes this big dramatic scene in front of the entire congregation, pointing out that the collection plate is empty and that Bart's the one holding it. This woman is such a bitter piece of work that she probably prays for a chance to ruin someone's life every night before bed.
Damn!
Thanks to Helen's accusation, the entire town turns on Bart. Meanwhile, Helen's sitting there feeling all smug and self-righteous, probably thinking she's done her Christian duty by exposing the bad seed of Springfield. But then Lisa figures out what actually happened and tells everyone that Jessica is the real thief.
Oh, what the heck? It was Jessica Lovejoy! If you said...
And at first, no one believes her. After all, Jessica's the minister's daughter. She's supposed to be perfect. So, the townspeople decide to search Jessica's room to prove Lisa wrong. And what do they find? The entire church collection money hidden under her bed. But wait, it gets so much better. They also find evidence that Jessica was expelled from boarding school for fucking pipe bombs.
I was expelled, Dad. Remember the pipe bomb, the glee club brawl? Remember the school chapel collection plate?
It turns out Jessica's been a serial delinquent this whole time, and the Lovejoys have just been covering it up and pretending their daughter is perfect. When confronted, Jessica admits she did it all as a cry for attention from her father. So not only is Helen's perfect daughter revealed as a criminal and a liar, but the whole town also finds out that the Lovejoys are such terrible parents that their kid has to commit crimes just to get their attention. Bloody hell, just get some therapy, you knuckleheads. And yes, I know the irony of that statement, fuck off. If you really want me to get the help I need, why don't you just take a sec to like the video? I promise the money will definitely go to therapy this time. Maybe. Anyways, I've got just one more treat left for the Helen getting fucking curb stomped jar. The episode In Marge We Trust has Helen Lovejoy doing something that must have taken several years of her life. She has to ask Marge Simpson for help. The same Marge she spent years belittling, gossiping about, and looking down on. Let me set the scene. Reverend Lovejoy has completely lost all passion for his job. He's bored and treats counselling his flock like it's the most tedious chore in the world. When people call him with their problems, he literally just tells them to read the Bible and hangs up on them. Top-notch spiritual guidance there, mate.
What should I do? Well, maybe you should read your Bible.
Marge notices how rubbish he's being at his job and decides to help out by volunteering as the listen lady to counsel church members. Word spreads fast, and soon the entire congregation is going to Marge instead of Lovejoy for advice. So, Helen's husband is even more of a bum, except now without the spiritual crutch. And once again, Marge takes the win by just being a good person. And who has to swallow her massive pride and call for help? Helen. She has to pick up the phone and call Marge, the woman she's been gossiping about for years because her husband is so depressed that she's genuinely worried about him. Can you imagine just how much that must have killed her inside? Having to admit that they need help from someone she considers to be inferior. Having to watch her husband be completely replaced by a housewife with no formal training. Having the entire town prefer Marge's guidance over her husband's spiritual authority. And Marge, bless her heart, still has the sense to help her biggest hater and get her shit back together. Lord knows I'd be laughing my arse off over the phone as soon as I heard her voice.
Get the fuck out of here, bitch!
And sure, it may have been more satisfying to see her friends get literally fucking blown up. But this moment right here is Helen getting pulled off her high horse and realising that maybe she isn't all that. Watching Helen get humbled like this hits harder than when your mum makes you a cup of tea. Honestly, I don't understand how she does it. You know who else would probably need some karma? You guys, if you don't hit that subscribe button and make that little bell ring. I mean it, I'm watching you. Anyway, cheerio.